Hi, this is Andy. This week we are covering one of the greatest B movies ever made, Ash vs. the Army of Darkness.
Is it considered an Ash versus or just Army of Darkness?
I'm going to edit this out. I fucked it up. It's the original title was Bruce Campbell vs. Army of Darkness, and then they shortened it. I'll edit all this out.
I keep it in.
It is still one of the greatest B movies ever made.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
And you've only just seen it.
Yeah, I have not seen anything Ash related, Army of Darkness related. I mean, yeah, I've played Poker Night at the warehouse too, where you can play against them in cards. And I didn't really get any of the references because I've never seen it before.
But now you know them all.
Yeah. I've even seen a reference of Army of Darkness in an episode of Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
That's not surprising. They had a lot of little Easter eggs in that show. I missed that.
Yeah, like a Hostel Gato. He had a chainsaw arm.
Chris Redfield was in an episode. Chris Redfield.
Yeah. The part that most came to mind was when Billy had that growth on the back on his back. And I saw it in this movie. Like, holy crap! I didn't know that was a reference. I thought they were just pulling something out of their ass. It was just creepy.
See, that was the beauty of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah, but anyway, it was a good show. But anyway, Army of Darkness, made in 1992, and surprisingly, it doesn't show.
No, it's aged very well.
Yeah, I would have said this was made in like 98.
Like, it's made in the early 90s, has good production values, but it feels like an...
That's part of the reason I like it so. They took time and effort to make it feel a certain way as a movie.
And it's so damn quotable.
Oh, it's Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell is quotable.
Yep, honey, you got ugly, real.
Good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
I love that line.
Yes.
It's my boomstick.
Navy Colt, sharp smart, shop at S Smart.
Yes, smart.
Yeah.
Wonder what it's supposed to be.
They did have a blue light special. Wink, wink.
Yeah. All this was just great. It was the most fun I've ever had watching a movie.
What would you guys say? Just talking about the movie, kind of being nebulous. What would you two say your favorite part of the what?
Like, my favorite part of the movie itself is when he's going to get the book. The whole interactions with Graveyard and creating Evil Ash.
Klaatu, Verata.
And the practical effect, too, with his face and, like, the skeletons poking him and then, like, Evil Ash coming out of him and the mini-Ash. Like, that whole chunk of the movie is damn near perfect.
Yeah.
Just for the record, the Evil Ash scene, when the mini-Ash grows and split, that is my favorite part.
Yeah.
They're just their little interaction.
Yeah. I mean, I also did like the whole entire castle siege part, too.
That's really good. That's like
for a movie of that time, I think they did something like that pretty fairly well compared to other movies, just for that period of time.
The Evil Ash and the Graveyard scene might be my favorite part about the movie is how it makes me feel. Like, to me, every time I watch this movie, I don't care when I'm watching it or how old I feel like I was 9 years old and I was at my cabin and I found this on a VHS. And at that point, it was the coolest goddamn movie in the world. And every time I watch it, that is just how I feel. I'm enjoying a spectacle of a amazing...
Yeah, you're cutting up a little bit at the end there.
Yeah, towards the end, you got pretty fairly chopped.
God damn.
Yeah.
I think we caught most of it, so we know what you were trying to say, just the end of it, you got it.
And I did kind of enjoy the little recap that they had at the beginning of the movie, because I've never seen this movie before.
I like that they did that, too, because that's... up until the movie starts, that's how Evil Dead 2 ends. He gets sucked into the vortex because in the first movie he gets away and he quote unquote, he goes back to the cabin, so shit happens. We might talk about Evil Dead 2 one day. Shit happens, and pretty much as, a farewell fuck, the evil makes a portal, sends him into the past. And up until the very beginning of the movie, that's pretty much, I think that's just directly lifted from Evil Dead 2. They kind of changed it when he gets into the past, but it's not too much. They changed it to fit with this movie. And I like that they did that because, like you're saying, for people that haven't seen the other two, you can kind of know why is he, 600 years in the past?
Let's just say the Dark Ages. He went to the Dark Ages.
Yeah, because he was in, I think, the 1300s.
Yeah.
So it's before any kind of real advance besides, like, the crossover.
And catapults.
They did have catapults.
This movie, I did like some of its action scenes and that in the little fight in the pit, they kind of seem a bit not exactly what the thing was, but when the wizard guy dropped the chainsaw into the pit and just perfectly goes onto his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Bruce to go.
Yes, because it's Bruce Campbell. I like that they added that. If you do watch the commentary, I'm sorry, not the commentary, the making of the Deadite session, they talk about the pit for a minute, and the monster he fights down there, I believe it's called the pit bit, and they added that in there to kind of pay homage to the Dead 1 and 2, which were far more dark and serious, so they kind of threw that in there to, hey, this is still Evil Dead, we're just doing something else.
Like,
and I like that they did that.
Who, like, hardcore Evil Dead fan, is the black sheep of the family, where the first two are dark horror comedies, and this is much in comedy, but it's in the universe.
It's funny. It's the black sheep of the film trilogy, but it's probably the one everybody likes the best.
And remembers the most.
Yes.
Like, the first two are really good dark.
Oh, yeah. They're
comedy.
really good horror movies.
Yeah,
this is a dark comedy movie with horror elements.
Yeah,
Two kind of went more for comedy than one, but it was sort of like the intermediate, and then obviously this.
I could kind of tell from the recap when he said when my hand went bad, I had to pretty much cut it off at the whatever with a chainsaw.
Yeah, you just lopped it off.
Yeah.
Which that was pretty much the second half of Evil Dead 2. The evil got into him and it went into his hand.
Yeah, you just see how messed up his face was too.
You don't need to watch Evil Dead 1 or 2 to enjoy this at all.
And that's another thing I like. You can just watch a standalone.
I never knew there was an Evil Dead 1 or 2 that came before this until when I was like 15. I rewatched it and I talked to someone.
I was kind of the same. I knew they existed. I watched this when I was probably 9 or 10, and I asked my mom and my uncle. My uncle loved Zord. And I asked him, I was like, why is the beginning of this so different than the rest? He's like, well, it's because these two movies and da-da-da. And I didn't watch them until I was in my teenage years. And I was like, oh, okay, let's see what he's saying.
Yeah, and I knew of the Evil Dead series, but I never really had the chance to actually go out and find them. But luckily, thanks to my local library, I got those DVDs for free.
Really?
Your library had Evil Dead?
Evil Dead 1 and 2 and this movie that we're talking about.
That is a godsend.
All on Blu-ray.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
Wait,
support your local library, people.
Yeah.
Did you rent them from the library, or did they just give it to you?
Rented.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you still just check them out with your card and it's like a book? You don't have to pay anything? Yeah. I know books are like that. I didn't know if the movies were.
You get to keep it. You get to keep it for like a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've never really used a public library.
You can also rent out video games too.
Really?
Yeah, for 2 weeks. Yeah, and they go back as far as Super Nintendo.
Oh, are they good games you can rent?
Yeah, I mean I got Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10.
Those are PlayStation. That's nice.
I've rented a Ghostbusters game from there. I rented a whole bunch of other stuff too. Super Mario Brothers Wii, Pikmin 2, Star Wars Battlefront for the PSP.
Nice.
Yeah, DS games, as long as it's in a case, you can rent it out and do stuff. Yes, I just made libraries a more popular place to go to.
If it were closer to me, I'd go to the library.
And also, we need more local libraries, really do.
Actually, you can also rent from other libraries to have them bring your stuff to your local library.
That's awesome. When I was a kid, the card was good anywhere in the county I grew up, but we had to go to the library if it wasn't at ours. It's nice that they move it around.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, reading is good. Well, most of the time. This movie is a bad example for reading is good.
You can put subtitles on.
Well, it's almost, I'll say one particular scene is, because remember the scene when Ash gets back to the castle after he accidentally raises the Deadite army, and he realizes he's going to have to help fight, and he digs all those books out of the back of his old Oldsmobile, and he starts, doing chemistry and shit. He made gunpowder and a couple other things, and then at the beginning he used his scientific knowledge, however he had that, to make that bionic hand. Information, kids, knowledge is power.
In Evil Dead 1 and 2, they established him and his friend college, so he could have been studying chemistry.
He very well could have been.
Maybe he wanted to be a chemistry professor.
But nope, he works at the local S-Mart.
He does.
Well, that's because being a chemistry professor probably isn't very viable for his area. He had a passion. Let him have it.
Yeah. See,
He's making bombs in his basement now.
yeah, this is what...
For people.
That's why I like Ash the character. He's insane and he's smart. I love that for a character.
He's a very intelligent fighter. He knows how to fight. I can't remember where I heard that. It might have just been on like the wiki bio for the character of Ash, but it said in most areas he's a moron, but he knows how to fight and he knows how to fight Deadeye. That is saving grace.
Well, when you have to figure out how to fight him or die quickly, if you know how to fight him.
Oh. It's not with an E. Oops. Yeah, I thought it was Ash A-S-H-E William.
Oh no, it's just A-S-H or Ash. Hey, he has the name Ashley, and he's still probably the most badass person in.
Also, did you guys know there are crossover comic books?
Yes, I wanted to get into those.
There's, if I'm wrong, Ash versus Marvel's. Ash versus Freddy Krueger.
Nice.
And versus Jason.
Ash versus Jason?
Yeah, it's Freddy and Jason.
Oh, it's both
in the same comic.
Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
Okay, because I had heard about it a long time ago, but I wasn't tight. Because
it's a good funny read, and it ends about like any Bruce Campbell fan would know if they haven't. And it actually has a really cool twist on Freddy Krueger. I don't want to ruin anything, but it's actually a pretty cool twist on his character.
I'll have to look into it because I did hear about it a while ago. Like I know.
Oh yeah, that came out like 10 years ago.
The Marvel Zombies was something I want to read because for a while I loved the Marvel Zombies, but they kind of got outlanded.
Huh? I didn't know this. There's also video games too.
Yeah, there's a video game that is set as a alternate continuity for what would happen if after Evil Dead 2 he didn't go back and he was put in a psychiatric.
There's 3 of them.
Well, I know of one of them.
Yeah,
I know there's a PS1 game and a Dreamcast game.
Yeah, okay. The first was Hail to the King, released in 2000 on PlayStation, Dreamcast, and Windows.
Hail to the King, baby.
This game continues after Army of Darkness. Ash is dating Jenny, a fellow S-Mart employee.
I believe that's the girl he met at the end, and she hailed to the king.
Yeah, his continual nightmares of what he's lived through convinces her to get him to come back to the cabin to face his fears, but his severed hand from Evil Dead 2 replays the tape and sets the evil loose again.
Nice.
The second game was A Fistful of Boomstick.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah, released in 2003 on Xbox and PlayStation 2.
Okay.
Ash mentions Jenny died in a bus accident previous to this game. Ash watches TV on a bar in Dearborn, Michigan, where a local TV show, Mysteries of the Occult reads the passage from the Necronomicon, setting the evil loose and possessing most of the town. You stupid fuck! Ash has to find his weapons, fight the Deadites, and find a way to stop the evil over the game. You play through several time periods, including colonial times and Civil War time. The third and final game was Evil Dead Regeneration, released in 2005 on Xbox and PlayStation 2 and Windows. And yeah, that's the alternate history game.
Okay.
That you were talking about.
Fistful of Boomstick confused. Because I know back when G4 was a thing, they did a segment on their one show about regeneration on how to, get max health. And he also makes an appearance as a player in the side-scroller action game Broforce. Oh, I didn't know that.
As well as the Telltale game Poker Night 2, where you get to play against him in poker.
Now, in those games, is it Ashley Williams or is it Bruce Campbell in those last two?
It's Ash.
Okay.
It's all Ash.
Yeah. Okay.
And yes, in the Poker Night 2, you can play against Ash for the Necronomicon.
Not that you would want the thing.
Yeah, it's like, as long as you say these magic words, the book will not affect you. What? Damn it! What are the words again? Varak, Bara, necktie?
Kletu Barata Nickel?
Necktie? Yeah, he does do that in that.
I love it.
And yes, he does converse with the other characters, GLaDOS, Sam from Sam and Max, Claptrap from Borderlands, and Brock Sampson from Venture Brothers. And at that point, he does have his mechanical hand, and for some reason, it does Morse code for some. Yeah, I believe it's like shop smart, shop S-Mart. All in Morse code.
I thought it might be drink more Opal.
Yeah, and there's also your comic books, like in 1992 with Dark Horse and then Dynamite Entertainment.
Oh, he had his own comic book run?
Oh yeah, it's a 3-issue miniseries.
I don't care. I'll look into it.
On Company, there was also another one in 2008. It's a retelling of the events in the original film. A little bit of different history. Cheryl is not Ash's sister, but just a friend of his girlfriend, Linda. And the book is called The Nacharan de Manto. Then there's a thing with Dynamite Entertainment. Made their own line of comics featuring the character Army of Darkness, Ashes to Ashes. A 4-issue miniseries that picks up directly after the film's ending. Taking place on the very day Ash and his friends travel to the cabin and leads to Army of Darkness Shop Till You Drop Dead. In 2005, another 4-issue miniseries, and there's so many 4-issue miniseries like Army of Darkness versus Reanimator.
Oh,
that would be nice.
And then there's the Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness, like you said. Darkman versus Army of Darkness. Never heard of Darkman either.
It was another Sam Raimi movie that got made. I believe it was Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. I'm not sure Bruce Campbell is actually. I'd have to find it, but I know it's another Sam Raimi that was pretty popular, in cult circle, cult fall.
And there were 2 series with Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
Yeah, I know that they did 2 of them.
Yeah. The first one was a 6-issue miniseries, and this made in 2007. And then there's another one in 2009 with the same amount. And there's some other stuff. Another one with Reanimator, and
I want to give the Reanimator one a look because that sounds interesting.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is really cool stuff. It is a very popular series.
Like I knew it had comics, just not that many.
Right. Yeah. Is there really anything more we can say about this at all?
Fucking watch it.
Yes, absolutely. Whatever you have to do, borrow it, steal it, just watch it.
Like it's worth the money.
Yes, I mean, and you can find it even on Blu-ray. I'm sure you can find it for under $20,
or rent it free from your local library.
Yes. And while you're there, get some books. I am all for reading.
Hey, they could have the Evil Dead comic books there too.
They could.
Libraries do have comic books too, people.
It's still technically reading.
Yep, and they put it right on their graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
Right with all the manga.
I wonder if they have the singles, or do they keep the collected volumes?
I would like to think they have collected volumes, so you get the whole.
Usually with libraries and comic books, they're like a few, I'd say about a year behind.
Okay, because I know it takes about a year for them to collection of a story arc.
Yeah.
According to our good friend In Bissell, they have trade.
Okay.
Yeah. There are trades, of course. So go watch this very, very cult classic.
Go find a girl, ask her out on a date. On your first date, watch this movie. You will marry.
Or at least finger her.
Oh, yeah. Either way, you're going to come out of that date a happy man.
And when I'm a woman, she'll think that much of you for it.
If she doesn't know who Bruce Campbell is, she will praise you every day for producing her.
God, if my fiance were up right now, she would hit all of us.
Like the Three Stooges.
Yep.
Grab a spine and get to manipulating.
So this is the end?
My old friend.
No, it's not over yet. We still have to tell them. If they're going to shop smart,
shop as smart.
This has been Writers of the Lost Zord talking about Army of Darkness. What?
Writers of the Lost Zord versus Evil Dead.
Versus the Army of Darkness.
Even better.
Okay, I like that.